Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. Today is September the 12th, it's Monday. Hope you're doing well today. I am enjoying my morning cup of coffee. I'm having a coffee this morning and getting started on the new week. I hope that you had a great weekend and got lots of fun things done. It's beautiful weather here. I hope that you're enjoying this autumnal transition. I love the end of the summer, those last days of nice warm weather, but the air is cool. It's got a different feeling to it. So everything is preparing now for autumn and the holidays coming up. So let me bring you up to speed on what's going on in the world today, and we'll get some stories at the end for your inspiration. And please don't hesitate to leave your comments as we go through the show today. If you've got anything on your mind or just a thought about what we're discussing, feel free to just leave your thoughts. This is your time to get together, meet other women in our community, and get up to speed on what's going on in this crazy world. So in the United States, you probably know this, but Hillary Clinton has been canceled her trip to California. She is not very well, had a moment yesterday at the 9/11 observance in New York where she had to be taken away to have a rest, and she is suffering from dehydration. But it turns out her doctor says that she also has pneumonia. So she's recovering and says she feels better now. So, it's a really grueling schedule for all these candidates and their teams. So let's just hope everything goes well. And there's a on-air debate coming up in September, end of September. And then, of course, the elections in November in the States. So hope everyone's well. Now, we talked about earthquakes the last couple of weeks. We had one in Italy, as you know, and then in Burma. And on the weekend, there was an earthquake in Tanzania, in Africa, and 13 people were killed. Over 250 were injured. It was it was a shallow but wide-ranging earthquake. It was felt in Kenya and other parts of the country. So I hope that everyone's okay there. This world is just always in transition on lots of levels. So the weather and Mother Nature just occasionally lets us know we're maybe not in control. But anyway, I hope everyone's well there. In Rio, just a quick update on the Paralympic Games. The UK is doing amazing. They've got so many gold medals. They got 8 golds in one day: track, swimming, and rowing. And so they're doing really, really well. And of course, everyone is. And what I really love about the Paralympics this year is that the athletes are being acknowledged as athletes. I'm not hearing the word disabled anymore. I'm just hearing people doing really great jobs at what they love to do. And what's a little different, though, for me is that the families are right by their sides. They've been there all their lives as they've dealt with issues and medical situations, and they are there now to celebrate with them at the Paralympics. So I think it's pretty cool. In France, well, this is one of my favorite ongoing stories, is that, they had the plane that went around the world on solar power. Well, now there's going to be a boat, and it's a double-hulled or multi-hulled catamaran. It's going to be called the Energy Observer, and it's moored in France right now, but it's going to be circling around the world, and it's going to take it 6 years to go around. It's going to be on wind, solar, and hydrogen that it creates as magic, how it does it. But anyway, it's going to be great and it'll be fun to watch. They're going to stop at 101 different ports and really just putting forward this idea that we can make renewable energy work for our transportation needs. And this boat, the Energy Observer, is going to be building on the success of Solar Impulse. So in Spain, every year there's protests around from the Catalan area of Spain, which includes Barcelona. Is that a section of Spain at the bottom southern coast where Barcelona is the capital. And every year they protest that they want to be independent. They want to be separate from Spain. Hundreds of thousands of people showed up yesterday in Spain to protest. And the main challenge, as I've read it, is that they are looking for a government that's a little bit more decisive and gets things done. The Spanish government has had, I think, 4 elections in the last few years. And so there's a lot of uncertainty and stagnation stagnation, in their opinion. So the Catalan people are voting or trying to vote to leave Spain, break away. They represent a huge amount of the economy of Spain, so they have a good leveraging bargaining chip. But we'll see how that goes. Now, this is a fun story. I don't know how many of you will resonate with this, but in the UK, there's a fabulous store. It's called Selfridges. It's on Oxford Street, and it's amazing. I mean, the windows on the holidays are just spectacular. Not quite as good as New York City, but they're very, very good. But in Selfridges this weekend, they opened their Christmas section. Yes, Christmas decorations are on sale in London. And apparently, according to the store, they've got thousands of people coming in every day to buy Christmas decorations. It's not even Halloween yet or Thanksgiving, but in England, Selfridges is now opening its Christmas season. What do you think about that? I just wonder whether you're a Christmas shopper all year round or whether you like to wait for things to unfold one holiday after the other. I personally kind of like the spacing. You know, I just like things to move a little more slowly so I can enjoy the just the depth and the subtlety of these different seasons. So I don't think about Christmas quite yet, but they do in the UK. So that's a fun one. Now, a couple of stories that I came across. One we talk about quite a bit is the impact that social media has on our lives. You know, here we are. We're on YouTube, Facebook. We're using it all the time, every day. And some people think it's not a good thing. Most people think it's bringing families together and is a positive thing. But this is an article about memory and social media. And the article was talking about how if you post something on social media, if you say it out loud, you post, you know, I went here with so-and-so, I went to the movies with my friend Mary. You remember it. So you remember it more than you would if you just, you know, had the event happened. So they did some studies with some students, some researchers looked at the activities of people who post their daily activities on Facebook or other social media channels, and then quiz them later, 1 or 2 weeks later, about what they remembered of those times. So what did you have for breakfast last Friday? Now, if you posted it on Facebook, you're more likely to remember than if you just had breakfast last Thursday. So it's really interesting to show that, and also there's some impact apparently of how many people like your post. So if your post is reinforced by other people, it establishes a deeper memory. That doesn't surprise me because I find myself, remembering things that I did, a few days, week ago, more than I did in the past. And I share quite a bit on social media, and I share a lot with you guys. So if you're interested, by the way, in memory and improving your memory, the article also just gives you some tips for things that you may not have thought would help you with memory. There's science behind all of this, but I'm just going to give you the 4 things they say help with memory. Coffee. They say that caffeine helps with your memory. Do you find that's true? Exercise stimulates blood flow in the body, and brain needs blood, and it's your brain works better. And I think it's the hippocampus. There's a part of your brain that gets thicker when you exercise. Squeezing a ball, you know those stress balls? Apparently, if you squeeze them with your left hand and then with your right, it stimulates a memory energy. I don't know how it works, but something about doing that exercise of squeezing those stress balls helps your memory. And finally, it says to eat omega-3 fatty acids. So, and I don't know where they did this research, but it was something about eating salmon before you go drive your car gives you better memory about direction. It's just that those fatty acids that are found in fish like salmon are really, really good for your memory. So those 4 tips, if you find yourself walking into the room and thinking, why am I here? Or can't remember where you put your car keys, have a coffee. Maybe that will help. Okay, so my last thought today is an article that I picked up on a site. I like this site. It's called High 50. It's a UK site. Their demographic is 50 and 60-year-old people, and so their articles are geared for that transition really between 50 and 60, and they're good. They're actually good articles, and this one I thought was something we might want to consider. The title was 5 Signs of Aging That We Don't Want to Admit. Now, of course, in our 60s, we admit them. We're up front. We're not hiding anything. But these are things that they say, maybe as you make that transition into your 60s, you start not being so keen at these signs of aging. The first thing is aching feet. Now, all of this article is really cool actually, because it does give you very specific things that you can do for each of these signs of aging. And so I'll leave the link to the article so you can read it, because they're really useful. So the first thing is, of course, the why. So that, when you're older, the fatty pads on the bottom of your feet actually do get thinner. So it's not a mystery that your feet do hurt you. The padding is not so thick. And you also get things like plantar, is it called fasciitis, and also arthritis in your feet. So there are real things that happen that make your feet ache. And of course, there's lots of things they suggest to do, including walking on tiptoe, wriggling your toes, and massaging them, of course, and then yoga. Yoga is really great for feet, doing the ankle exercises and swimming. So feet are a challenge, but don't have to be. Okay, the next one is saggy boobs. Now, we all know that our breasts age faster apparently than any other part of the body, and and it goes up. Sometimes can go up a cup size as you get older. So your breasts do go through all kinds of changes as you get a bit older, and your estrogen levels, of course, drop in your after menopause, and this causes the tissues in the breast to get weaker. So it's not. Of course, gravity doesn't help, but it's not an unusual thing to happen. It's not like you would freak out about it. It just is what it is. Their advice is to do some things we talk about, like buy a supportive bra. Number one, go out and buy a good bra that supports you. Do the little straps, like pull them right up, because that helps to keep everything just strong. And also, it talks about doing chest press-ups and push-ups, because that strengthens the muscles in the chest and in the breast. And the last bit of advice is don't waste your money on breast creams and lotions and potions. They don't work. And then another one they talk about, which we all know about, is rogue chin hairs. Okay, it's true. They're coarser, they're longer, they're defiant. They just appear. And, we all laugh about this, and how you tell a friend that you've noticed, that one of these little rogue chin hairs are appearing, but there's honestly nothing you can do. And their advice is not to buy any creams or do anything magical. Even in their opinion, waxing isn't that useful. And they just say pluck. And Arian Poole, he's our makeup expert, also says this. Just get a really good pair of tweezers and pluck. And there's a myth about them growing back thicker and coarser. It isn't true. Just go ahead and pluck them. So the next thing they talk about is going slightly deaf. This is really common. We've talked about this in articles on 60andMe. And of course, go check with your GP on this, because there are some really amazing technologies now. It could just be a wax buildup. It could be something very simple. But if you're experiencing hearing challenges, go check with your doctor. Best advice. Now, the other one they talk about is slight incontinence. Now, this is something that there was a company called Always Discreet. They actually make a product for incontinence, but they did a survey and say that in UK alone, just slight incontinence, all the way from like having a little leak when you cough or sneeze to really having to go to the loo a lot or having little accidents, that there are 3.5 million Brits who deal with this. So they say that, it's, of course, we know why it's caused by weak pelvic muscles and other, diseases too, but weak pelvic muscles are the most likely culprit. And you can do all kinds of exercises that will help with that. And of course, it happens a lot after pregnancy, childbirth. and menopause. So it's nothing at all to be embarrassed about or to be worried about. It's just something that we just have to deal with. And there are products, of course. You can buy lots of things that will help you feel more confident. And if you've got a real serious challenge, then of course go see your doctor. Now, there are pelvic exercises, as I mentioned, and they in the article also talk about yoga exercises that can help with your pelvic area. And there's a tip here to ask your yoga teacher about something called the root lock. And it's something which is a exercise in yoga that you can do that specifically targets pelvic weakness. So that's a good one. And of course, they ask that you avoid drinks like caffeine and fizzy drinks. You know why? Well, because they encourage you to go to the loo. And I always have to watch that with coffee. When I have a couple of cups of coffee in the morning, I always notice I need to go to the loo more often. So there you go. That's the advice on slight incontinence. Anything more serious, of course, see a doctor. But just chill about it. Don't realize, it's not a big deal. We get through, all these things as we get older and deal with them. So it's true, as the quote that I always loved is Betty Davis, where she said, aging is not for sissies. Getting old is not for sissies. We've got to be brave and creative and courageous and deal with all these signs of aging that affect us. And I'd love to know, what you might be going through and how you're dealing with it. I think it's really important that we are upfront about these things and that we share with each other. It's part of the reason 60andMe exists. So I really want to thank you all for being here again for Mornings with 60andMe. I love having you here. I love doing this every morning, knowing that you're watching and that it's bringing something into your life that is positive and energizing. And I just want to thank you for giving me that back. It's a reciprocal thing. And thanks for your comments. If you do want to get the news first, please go up to 60andme.com/mornings, sign up to get the news first, and just do me a favor if you can today and just tell a friend, someone that's out there in their 60s or 50s and is going through some of the things that we talked about. Just refer them to 60andme.com/mornings. Ask them to join us every morning. I'd love to have you and them here. So my question for the day, going back to Betty Davis's quote about aging not being for sissies, what do you find most challenging about getting older? I just think it'd be really fun to talk about, even those things that we just discussed about the signs of aging. What are the things that you find most challenging about getting older? I look forward to your comments and to joining the conversation with you. Have a fabulous Monday. Have a really good week. And I'll see you all back here tomorrow on Mornings with 60andMe.